It's happening. The Four Nations Face-Off begins tonight, and we have your tournament preview and our picks on today's show.
You're Locked On Predators, your daily podcast on the Nashville Predators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Predators podcast. Thanks so much for making us your first listen of the day. We are, of course, your free daily Nashville Predators podcast. We're a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Going to kick off this Wednesday episode shouting out our Locked On Predators insiders and our everydayers who tune in to talk Nashville Predators hockey with us. I am Ann Kimmel. I'm a writer and co-host with Penalty Box Radio. And friends, I have a partner in crime.
You do. I'm Emma Lingen, and I'm the Predators site editor and reporter for the Hockey News.
It's so much better than the All-Star Weekend, everyone. Tonight kicks off the Four Nations Face-Off. On today's show, we're going to preview that tournament, get you all ready for it. We're going to talk about the Nashville Predators that are going to be competing for their home countries. We're going to take a closer look at the rosters, and Emma and I are going to make some predictions for which team we think is going to win it all. All right, Emma, I kicked off the intro by saying that this is so much better than the NHL All-Star Weekend. Am I speaking for both of us, or have I spoken out of turn?
Oh, you are speaking for both of us. The All-Star Skills Challenge is painfully long. There is no reason it needs to be that long. And the games are hard to watch because no one really wants to be there and they're not trying that hard. So, yeah,
we saw you, Nikita Kucherov, last year. You broke it. He broke it.
This year, I think, again, it's still, it's not the Olympics, but it's kind of like a precursor to the Olympics. Guys are actually playing for something, they're playing for their country. There's a certain level of honor and respect that comes with that. And guys get, really into these rivalries. A lot of these guys have, when they were younger, they played internationally for like their World Junior teams. And some of these, like US, Canada is a big rivalry. And then Finland and Sweden's a big rivalry. So it's, I'm sure that there will be a lot of like a little bit more passion with this event, or at least I hope so.
Yeah. Well, and I love what you say about the players kind of get into it. Of course, they love representing, like you said, there is an honor to representing your home country in any tournament, but it's been kind of fun being in the locker room right before this kicks off. I have some content coming out for Penalty Box Radio. And one of the things that I did is I asked a couple of the players about Four Nations. I asked Roman Josi, of course, he's Swiss, doesn't really have a dog in this fight. So I'm like, who are you rooting for? And he starts to laugh and he goes, "Oh, Finland." And I turn around and Juuse Saros is behind him, pointing at himself, like glaring at Roman Josi.
Yeah. That's a good captain right there.
Yes. And
pandering.
Then Juuse Saros work in the room. I was talking with Luke Shen. I've got a piece coming out about Luke Shen later this week. And of course, Shen is like, "I'm Canadian. I'm rooting for Team Canada." And he says that as Saros walks by, and you hear Saros go, "Hey." And Shen quickly amends it, and he says, "I mean, Canada wins in overtime over Finland in the championship." Like, this is a whole thing. Like, and Luke Shen, 100% going to give crap to whatever country lost. Like, he just openly admits it. And here for that petty in the locker room, Emma. I am here for the Four Nations petty.
Oh yeah, I love it. I mean, gotta have some friendly competition, friendly rivalry. Keep things light because things are not light in Predators land right now. No. So if there's anything you can do there, then yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah, we're just looking for the joy in Whoville, people, and the Four Nations is bringing it in the locker room. Of course, Nashville has a couple of players representing their home countries, Filip Forsberg and Gustav Nyquist, Team Sweden, baby. And like we mentioned, Juuse Saros is one of the goaltenders for Team Finland. Were you surprised by who was picked from Nashville, Emma, or was there anybody that you were like, I can't believe they didn't pick them?
I'd say the only one I was pretty surprised by, like in terms of a snub, I guess, would be that Steven Stamkos is not playing for Team Canada. But then again, like Canada has so much depth in, like they obviously churn out a lot of NHL talent. So I
Yeah.
don't, it's not like I don't really think there's anyone on that roster who doesn't deserve to be there. So it's not like, oh, how did this guy get in, but Stamkos didn't? It's like, oh, the roster's just not big enough. Like, and I'm sure, he's in Turks and Caicos right now, so I'm sure he's not too broken up about it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, he's still going to be in the Hall of Fame. So I
He's going to
think
sleep
that
fine in Turks and Caicos.
he's going to sleep fine in Turks and Caicos. Yes.
You also wonder if maybe like because of the giant life transition, they're like, you know what, let's just let the guy find the ketchup at Trader Joe's and then go to Turks and Caicos and not bother him right now. And I think maybe Steven Stamkos is like, please don't bother me right now. I've got some things
Please,
going on.
please let me go to Turks and Caicos.
Please. So we're going to take a quick look at the roster and kind of weigh in on what we see. So first, let's start with goaltending, Emma. And this one is juicy. Like, it's kind of hard to go into this and go, okay, clearly this is the nation with the goaltending advantage. Canada has Jordan Binnington, Aiden Hill, and Sam Montembeault. USA, Connor Hellebuck, Jake Ottinger, Jeremy Swayman. Finland, Kevin Lankinen, life coach Kevin Lankinen, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, and Juuse Saros. Sweden has Philip Gustafsson, Jacob Markstrom, and Linus Ullmark. And yeah, that's it. Those are the four nations, not five nations, and just four. Wrap it up. When you look at goaltending, Emma, is there one nation that you're like, ooh, that's going to be a lot of fun?
I mean, USA has got that's always been their thing with like kind of their claim to fame, especially in that rivalry with Canada. It's like USA cranks out some good goalies. And so, I mean, was it Hellebuck, Ottinger, Swayman? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, Hellebuck's your number one. I guess Ottinger's your number two. And if Swayman's your third goalie, that's pretty good. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would say beyond that, Finland, of course, I mean, we're biased here.
We are straight.
2/3 of the Finnish goaltending group is, two of our favorite people, but like not just that they're wonderful people, also very, very good goalies. So yeah, those are probably the two that I'm most excited for.
Connor Hellebuck alone, like if the USA's goaltending roster was like Connor Hellebuck, Emma Lingen, and Ann Kimmel, I'd be like, got to give it to USA.
Oh yeah.
Mostly about Connor Hellebuck, mostly.
Yeah.
But Sweden too, Philip Gustafsson, he's had a pretty good season. Jacob Markstrom, pretty good season. I'm a little bit here for Jordan. I'm petty. I'm a little bit here for Jordan Binnington not doing well. Just because sometimes he hurts my heart. I don't know. He's just maybe not so much for me. But
He's an acquired taste.
Like black licorice.
Yeah.
He's the black licorice of goaltending for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Acquired taste as in if you're a St. Louis fan, you probably love him.
Sure.
If you're not, you probably hate him.
Sure.
Sure.
People somewhere love black licorice. Otherwise, they wouldn't sell it, I guess. But
In St. Louis.
In St. Louis, big black licorice in St. Louis. But yeah, I love what USA has lined up. And I'm with you, just straight vibes. Give me Kevin Lankinen and Juuse Saros and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. I mean, just straight vibes.
I am excited for Juuse Saros because we talked about this on yesterday's show, how he has had some bad hockey being played in front of him. And I am excited for him to have some good hockey being played in front of him.
He won't even know what to do.
I know. He'll be like, wow, I didn't have to like single-handedly try to carry this game. Wait, no one from my own team is tackling me in the crease. Wow. What a time. What a time to be alive.
It's going to be so great. And you know what? I'm here for Saros getting all the shutouts, but we'll wait and see what happens. Coming up, we are going to discuss the defensive standouts for each team and who we think are going to be scoring a lot of goals. Today's episode is brought to you by Factor. Are you looking to optimize your nutrition this year? Factor makes eating well easy with chef-prepared, dietitian-approved meals that are fresh, never frozen, and ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes. With 40 options across 8 dietary preferences every week, you can customize your meals to fit your lifestyle, whether it's calorie smart, protein plus, or keto. Plus, Factor even offers wholesome smoothies, breakfasts, and grab-and-go snacks to keep you fueled all day long. The convenience of Factor meals is unbeatable. There's no prep, no mess, just great food in minutes. Factor takes the stress out of meal planning. So eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/LockedOnNHL50 off and use code LockedOnNHL50 off to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code LockedOnNHL50 off at factormeals.com/LockedOnNHL50 off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. All right, Emma, defenseman. Like we mentioned, Roman Josi not going because there's no Team Switzerland, but there are plenty of really good defensemen. Also, goal scorers out the wazoo. So when you're looking at the forwards, let's start with forwards. Let's start with the glamorous stuff. Looking at Canada, USA, looking at Finland, looking at Sweden. Of course, we know Filip Forsberg, Team Sweden. We've got Gus Nyquist, Team Sweden. I want Gus Nyquist to come out here and be 2023-24 Gus Nyquist in this tournament. I just think it would be so great. Let's have a redemption arc at the Four Nations for Gus Nyquist. It will also increase his trade value. But when you're looking at these rosters and the forwards on them, like who jumps out at you? Who are you most excited to watch?
Oh man. I mean, USA is exciting. Like USA is exciting to me, but I'll stick with Sweden for a minute. Like looking at I think the way they practiced the groups, like when they practiced on Monday, Gus Nyquist was on the 4th line. Filip Forsberg was on the 2nd line with Elias Pettersson. So that's interesting.
Hey, hello, Elias Pettersson and Filip Forsberg.
Yes.
Introduce yourselves.
Yeah, play nice. So that I thought was an interesting one. I'm also excited for Sweden. Ricard Raquel was a late add for them because he was left off the initial roster. He said, hold my beer. He went on
In
a
Swedish.
tear. Yeah, hold my beer in Swedish. He went on a tear for the Penguins. Basically said, I will show them. And then there was an injury and he was added to the roster. So I'm excited to see him as well.
Yeah, I'm with you. I really like USA. Here is the player, and I know this sounds so odd, that I am secretly under the radar excited to watch, and that's Kyle Connor. I mean, what I don't know what's in the water in Winnipeg, y'all. But we need to take our Stanley Cups up there and fill those suckers up and put them in the Nashville locker room because Winnipeg is on a tear. And Kyle Connor, he always seems to be really good against Nashville while also looking like the guy you went to high school with who works at the factory down the street. Like you just want to see the average looking dude light it up at the Four Nations. And of course, Jake Gensel, he's been having kind of a great year with Tampa Bay. JT Miller is on the USA roster. He's like feeling himself now in New York. He's like a new man. Of course, there's a Hughes because why not have a Hughes? So yeah,
Only one though, because Quinn is hurt. So
Quinn is hurt, which is so sad. I'm going to say very sad about that. I would have liked to have seen him. He's one of the ones that when Nashville plays Vancouver, you can't help but watch Quinn Hughes. Even if you don't want to. Like you don't want to see it happen, but your eyes are just drawn to him on the ice. So I'm really sad about that. But I do think USA is fun. And of course, Canada. I mean, Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby, Nathan McKinnon, Mitch Marner. Heard of a couple of those guys. So Canada, of course.
Yeah. I mean,
You know?
those are, I feel like Canada has like the obvious ones there. And I don't mean to detract from, like, they're very deserving of being there, of course. But I think we're talking about more like under the radar, like line combinations that'll be fun to see. Like, I think USA has a lot of potential
Mhm.
there. With, you mentioned guys like Kyle Connor. I think he was practicing, I want to say, on the first line with USA. And then you've got, both the Kachucks, you've got Jack Eichel, you mentioned Gensel, you've got like Dylan Larkin, of course, Austin Matthews. Um,
Right?
there's plenty of talent to go around there. So I think that that'll be exciting too.
Yeah.
But if we're gonna talk about the defense though,
Oh, let's talk about the defense.
Canada.
Oh my gosh, Canada. Could you not steal it all? Here's where it's not fair. New rule for next Four Nations face off. You can't have Kale McCarr and Devon Taves together. Okay?
Gotta
You
split them up.
one or the other. You don't it's not a package deal. One or the other. But oh my gosh, Josh Morrissey is going to be on there. Canada is just, I mean, Kale McCarr, again, Kale McCarr partnered with Emma Lingener and Kimmel, gonna light it up at the Four Nations. But
Oh yeah.
yes, overall, I mean,
But you've also got like Drew Doughty was just added,
yes,
Shea Theodore, like this is pretty stacked. And then yeah, Canada's forward group is just disgusting, like how good they
ridiculous.
are.
Yeah. Yeah. Finland, I think Finland's kind of interesting. I mean, I know it's not like the Glory Boys, but Jani Hakanpää, Miro Heiskanen, like, I don't know. Every time, here's a little insight into things that you don't want to know go on in Anne's mind. For some reason, anytime I hear Jani Hakanpää, I think Hufflepuff.
Well, I was gonna say I might one up you here. I was
Ooh,
gonna say Yanni Hakanpää is my favorite name in the National Hockey League. It's fantastic. He briefly had a stint in Carolina when I was covering the Hurricanes, and I loved it. I loved any chance to be able to say his name, but I always would say it like, I don't know why my mind was like, you need to do this. I would say it kind of like it sounds like a parrot, like how a parrot would talk,
oh, I'm going to need to hear that.
like Yanni Hakanpää. Like, I don't know. Doesn't it? Like it's like Yanni Hakanpää.
Polly, want a cracker? Oh, bless Yanni. We love your name. And look, Hufflepuffs is a great house, and parrots are lovely. So there's that. But
Yeah,
yeah.
this is what goes on in our minds. This is
Oh, it's
maybe we
y'all, you
shouldn't.
know the season. If you're an everydayer, you know what we have been through, and this is where we're at Four Nations. Let's not forget one of my favorite entities of human beings, and that's a Swedish defenseman. And you've got Rasmus Dahlin, Victor Hedman, Eric Carlson, and ladies and gentlemen, Mattias Ekholm for Sweden. Just will never not love watching Mattias Ekholm play hockey. So, I'm going to be keeping my eye on the Swedish defenseman as we go. Coming up, we're going to go over the schedule with you, tell you when you need to set your not VCRs, because we don't have those anymore, but your recording devices. And Emma and I are going to give you our picks. If you are looking for a snack that is both delicious and nutritious, you need to crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they are packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. I personally love the no shells variety. I'm all about getting half the work done before I get started. The no shells are the perfect grab and go snack for busy days, whether I am snacking here at my desk or on the road or just need a quick protein boost. They are always a great go-to. And if you love cracking open every shell for that satisfying crunch, the in-shell options are a classic favorite. Get snackin' and get crackin' with the snack that packs the protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. All right, Emma, kick it off tonight, we've already gone several days without hockey. Those of us who follow the Nashville Predators, it's been a bit of a palate cleanse, but we're ready for some good hockey. The way this tournament is set up, it is a round robin tournament. So teams are going to play each other 3 points for a win, 2 points for a win in overtime or a shootout. You get 1 point for an overtime loss. You get a fat lot of nothing when you lose. Familiar. Tonight kicks off with Canada versus Sweden, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be at 7 p.m. Central Time on TNT. Tonight's game is going to be in Montreal. These games are going to rotate between Montreal and Boston. Is that right? Boston? Yep. We should have been on the road and gone to Boston. Can you imagine us covering this live? Hey, Yanni Hakanpää.
Yanni Hakanpää. No, I ironically will be in Boston this weekend, but I will not be there for the tournament. I will be checking in as Auntie M for the weekend. I'm going to visit my friend and my nephew, but yes.
Better than Yanni Hakanpää.
I mean,
a lot, but
his name's not as fun to say, but I won't tell him that.
Yeah. And we like him better. We like your nephew better. But yes. So tonight kicks off Thursday night, USA versus Finland. That's right. Come at us, bro. Juuse Saros, Kevin Lankinen, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. We'll see what USA can do. That's at 7 p.m. on Thursday. Saturday, doubleheader, baby. Like, get all your chores done early and get comfy. Finland versus Sweden. Juuse Saros going to be making saves on Filip Forsberg and Gustav Nyquist. That's noon Central Time on ABC. And then USA Canada. Oh, those are always so spicy. USA Canada, very spicy games. That's at 7 p.m. Central Time, again on ABC. That's on Saturday. Then Monday, Canada versus Finland, noon at TNT. Next Thursday, the championship game at 7 p.m. Central Time. It's going to be really interesting to see. But Emma, you and I, one of the things our listeners know, we like to be right, seeing as it so often is what happens for us. When you are looking at these teams, let's make predictions. Who do you have in the finals and who do you have winning it all?
I have gone back and forth on this, and we do know I like to be right. I never like to pick the obvious choice. It's like, like if you do a March Madness bracket, like you don't want 2 number 1 seeds in the final. But I feel like I still end up doing that. But I've got to go USA Canada in the final, and I think USA pulls it out. I think USA wins.
Really?
The goaltending is better.
Connor Hellebuck, Emma Lingen, and Ann Kimmel. Yeah, that pretty much gets it done every time.
Yeah, the big 3.
The big 3. Look, I really think Canada. I do think Canada is going to be in the finals. I'm going to go wild card here, and I know I should go USA. I'm going to go Sweden.
See, Sweden was who I flip-flopped USA and Sweden. I think that they could be a little bit of a dark horse, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I feel like Sweden could do it. Of course, you've got Victor Arvidsson, Leo Carlsson. You've got like young Leo Carlsson, Filip Forsberg, Kempe, Elias Lindholm. Like, I just look at their William Nylander. He's having a great season. So I'm just like, why not? And did I mention Swedish defenseman Mattias Ekholm? After seeing his heartbreak in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final, can we just let him win the 4 nations?
Yeah,
that's what I'm asking. And I do think goaltending wise, I think Philip Gustafsson has been very, very good. Markstrom's been good. Linus Ullmark, good goaltender, delightful human being. And look, I'm just like, yes, I'm American, but I love my Swedish roots. Yeah. So I'm going to go Sweden and Canada. And you know what? If I'm just going to ride this horse, I'm just going to go all the way. Sweden's going to win it.
There you go.
And that locker room in Nashville will be unbearable. I don't know.
They will be insufferable.
Do you think so?
In the best way.
Filip Forsberg and Gus Nyquist are probably two of the people I think are probably least likely to smack talk, at least in front of the media.
Oh, and I mean, in front of the outside media, yes, but they are actually two of the guys on the team who have probably like they will be the first to chirp you for something. Like both of them actually, my first year, like first season with Nashville, Phil actually no, Colton Sissons was the first one to chirp me about something, but Phil was not long after. And then Gus chirped me on his first day in Nashville. I was like, okay, you're
I
new,
see
but
what
I
we're
like
bringing.
you. Yeah, I was like, all right.
Oh.
They are very like, but they're not like big and loud about it. It's kind of
Mhm.
like the subtle digs that it's like, it's like, did you just say that? And it's like, I don't know. I think they have a good sense of humor too.
Yeah.
So I think I could see it.
Yeah. Do we want to bet anything on this?
I don't know.
I
What
don't
are,
either. We should have thought about this ahead of time. Should we bet anything on this? So you
yeah.
have USA winning it all.
Yeah.
Ugh, I don't know. Maybe we should ask for input on that
Okay.
because I don't, off the top of my head, like, here's what's real, people. I will not eat gross things. I don't care
I wouldn't
what
do
bet
that
I
to you.
lose. No, but that's just like, you will never see me on Survivor, not because I can't go without food, but because I don't eat gross things.
Yeah.
Fear factor, my worst nightmare. But hey, let's just open it up. Drop in the comments what you think Emma and I should bet. She says Team USA. I say Team Sweden. If I lose, what should happen? If Emma loses, what should happen? I don't know. Could be interesting. If we like any of your suggestions and they're not illegal, we'll consider. Maybe some that are illegal too. I don't know. We'll see. But again, tonight kicks off Four Nations Face Off. Y'all, it's going to be some great hockey. And of course, on tomorrow's show, Emma and I will let you know what we saw in the first game of the tournament. And as we go along, we'll keep recapping these games, keep you up to date in case you missed that. Before we log off, Emma, and turn over the outcome of our bet to our everydayers and our insiders, let everyone know where they can find you and your work.
You can find me on social media at Emma_Lingen, and you can find my work at the Hockey News.
And you can find me at AnnK_Mama on Ice on social media. Woo! You can find my work with Penalty Box Radio as well. That's going to do it for this episode of the Locked On Predators podcast. Thanks so much, y'all, for making us your first listen of the day. Get ready for some great hockey tonight. We will recap the game, and we'll see you again tomorrow.